Job hopping, this is important. A lot of times when we do an advertising and marketing campaign, we're trying to connect with a consumer. What we don't realize is that consumer could be a previous sort of employee of a company, or they could be a previous regulator of that company. We, especially in our generation, are going to hop from job to job to job. It's fairly natural. You know, the average sort of career lifespan a couple years ago was like 7 years in any one job. That's been cut in, I think, a third for our generation. I think it's the new future. So whoever your employee is today can have a dramatic impact on the brand perception and the marketing that needs to get done in the future. That's important, you know, because there's a whole book about basically saying that even in this economy, people are changing jobs pretty frequently. This is a great story about why this matters. This was in the Gawker this morning, picked up by the New York Times, and taken from there. Again, one disgruntled employee, one person who is not happy with the company culture, the way it's lived out there, all of the marketing, all of the brand perception suddenly called into question because the employee basically said that whatever they're doing internally is, you know, quote unquote bullshit. That is incredibly powerful for one person to write a single email that could then have this much of an impact. And it tilts, I think, sort of that power play back in favor of employees. And it basically means you as an advertiser, you as a marketer, need to understand what that company culture is, how do you foster it, and then how do you build upon it in a way that's authentic, it's transparent, and genuine, and sort of achieves those marketing objectives that you want to do. What's all this mean? Again, sort of the recap. The rise of social media, purpose-driven organizations, WikiLeaks as a phenomenon enforcing radical transparency upon companies, creative value chain, and high turnover rate means that I think the future of marketing, the place where we have the most leverage and the greatest ability to make an impact is with your employees of any company that you work with. And it's because we're seeing the personification of a brand. Now on the left, this was a very common perception of Walmart for years and still is in many circles. You know, it's a corrupt, faceless organization, this sort of multinational that's evil that's out there. But imagine you live in Arkansas, Alabama, North Carolina, or some small town, and you don't really see any Walmart's advertising. What you see when you walk in is Grandpa here. And he says hello, just like your own grandfather does. And you're like, damn, that's really nice. Like, this is a nice guy. So your perception of Walmart as an organization, as a brand, is directly impacted and built upon that one-on-one interaction you have with that Walmart greeter. The great thing for Walmart, and I think for us and for any brand out there, is we can now take this Walmart greeter effect and we can scale it. When I think of Walmart as an entity, it's hard for me to sort of conceptualize that. But I can think of Grandpa. I have a very clear understanding of that. So think of every time you've had a positive interaction with customer service. That elevates sort of the brand in your mind. And it's all of the sort of tiny interactions that then add up to sort of the sum total of what that brand can be. That's incredibly important.